Hi everyone. So we are working on Quora lately and we are answering many questions in that platform. And I wanted to give you a gist of what those questions are and what our replies are. And we're going to start to make a Quora series, Q&A series, replying to Quora questions on our YouTube channel. So here is the first series of the first video of that series. And the first question would be, how could IT recruitment be reinvented and improve the candidate experience? Well, I have to say that candidate experience is really a concern when trying to recruit IT roles, because most of the great IT people are already hired, so you can't post a job opening and expect 100 of great applicants to apply. You have to really proactively search for those people in the IT roles. And um, a user called Ashish Kadias um, uh, posted a really great answer, but it was 12 years ago. So I wanted to update on that, and here is my input. I say that you should avoid early data to avoid unconscious bias, and we realize that when you have the resume of, of talent, and you read the resume and it takes 2 weeks until you start interviewing them. During those 2 weeks, you create unconscious bias in your mind. So with a product, recruiters only can see the candidate data 3 minutes before the interview, to avoid creating that unconscious bias. And you can also see that it's really important for IT candidates to display what the steps or what the hiring process look like, because it's not the same having 8 interviews or having 3 interviews, especially if you are already hired, right? And not knowing anything about each other, it's in line with what I said before, not knowing anything about each other until you get to the interview, until you meet that person face to face. Every conversation should be effective. That means that you should have uh, plans for your interview, and if possible, let the candidate know what the structure of the interview is and what you're going to ask them, so that they can prepare and the interview can go much smoother. Some other considerations would be being upfront with the job conditions for both sides. So if you are a candidate and it's really important to you the salary, you should state it at the beginning of the interview, because if not, you're just making everyone lose their time. All right, and it happens both for candidates and for employers. Tell the salary range early on so you can avoid um, any misconceptions about your employer branding. And then we can have candidate employer relations should be 100% face to face. It's just what we talked about. And the last one would be deliver feedback based on trust. And that's a thing that really gets under my skin, because when I was a candidate, what really bothered me was that I was ghosted all the time as a candidate. Whether I went on to the second interview, to the third interview, even to the fifth interview, especially the more interviews I had, the most chances there were for them to ghost me. So I ended up quite frustrated, and it was my first time that I was searching for a job, and it was quite hard. So we're trying to not let that happen to anyone ever, and that's why we implemented in our product, for example, uh, personalized feedback to candidates based on the interview notes, that those notes are also collected in our product. And I hope this was helpful to you and useful, and we'll be back with the second video. Bye.